Hello horse friends and welcome to the imperfect question. Well, I've been bargain hunting again. I went to a little local sale and I have managed to find, can you guess? A driving harness, and it was a good bargain. We got it down quite cheap to about £40. It's an old leather one, so it is quite dry and does need oiling, but we're going to go try it on JJ, and then what we'll do is we will oil it and clean it and then have a little drive around, see how she goes. She's not actually fully trained for driving, but we have done a little bit of in-hand work with her before, so we'll see what happens.
You look so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you.
Well, I've popped the harness on JJ and I've adjusted it the best I can, and it seems to be pretty much a perfect fit, which is amazing. So let's go get it cleaned and oiled so we can use it properly. Here we are with our first go with the new harness. I'm working around the edge of the track to start with because I'm feeling like it's going to help us out a bit by giving us a bit of a guide so we don't wander left and right too much. So far so good. I take her down the edge and then I test our voice commands to see if she'll stop. I have to put a little bit of pressure on to start with, but she does stop without too much effort, so I go and praise her. We then continue along the track and my husband's filming us. She's doing really well. You can see I'm using two hands for now. I've never really done it with one hand before. She wanders left and right quite a lot on the track, but that's okay. We can work on the steering as we go. I'm not too sure if it's because I'm oversteering or just she's not very good at going in straight lines at the moment. It's probably a bit of both, to be fair. We take her into a paddock and you'll start to see as we go around here that I am finding it quite challenging to keep her going in a straight line. Now she has more of an option and not so much guidance from the outside of the track. So I start by being forced to follow her a little bit because I don't want to bend her too much, and then she doesn't want to walk forward. So when she doesn't want to go, I'm just using one of the reins to lightly tap her bum as I'm clicking at her and saying walk. She's quite determined that she doesn't want to go the way I want her to go, but eventually we get going a bit and then she starts taking control again. It's our first day out in the new harness and it's our very first time in a big open area, so we have a lot of practicing to do. It's meant to look ugly in the start, so don't worry too much. Eventually I get her going a little bit more in the direction I want. I want it to head up more towards the top of the paddock. She's turning now and a little bit too much, trying to come back again. I didn't mind her turning across, but it was a little bit more than I wanted. And you can see here I'm asking her to go forward a bit more because I feel that if she had a little bit more forwardness, she wouldn't be waving quite so much left and right. She's been a little bit more forward than I can walk, which is why she's been a little bit fussy with a bit. There is a bit of tension on there. I'm not trying not to keep too much on. I'm trying to keep up with her, as you can see. But she's just been quite objectionable. But it is, like I said, our first time out of this new harness in an open area, so things are going to happen like that. That's it. Now we're heading back to where she wanted to be. She's going quite a bit better. Unfortunately, you can see that a lot of the straps on the harness are starting to come undone and dangle down a bit, and a bit later on I do decide to take off most of the straps that we didn't need. She did alright then, good girl. This is some video from when we tried previously to train her to drive, around about lockdown. You can see that I'm leading her whilst my husband drives her. And then here we are a little bit later on with just me driving her. You can see that we've got a tyre, so she's got some weight pulling along, but we're in a totally different situation. What we have is the lane, which is really helping us keep her direction going properly so that she's not steering too much left and right. We'd only actually put in a few days work at this point, and as you can see, she was remarkably calm and well behaved for what she'd learnt so far. She'd learnt stop mostly from the voice commands, and I was always reinforcing it when she did well with treats. As we set off here, you can see a little bit how if we hadn't been in a lane, she probably would have turned across and tried to turn around then. Back to where we are at the moment, and I've added some pool noodles down the side. They're very soft, but they're going to knock aside a little as she walks so that she gets the idea of what shafts might feel like. Let's see how she does. Yet again, she's doing me proud. You can see the pool noodles are bouncing around and hitting the sides, and she's really not bothering at all. She's doing everything I'm asking of her. Whoa! Good girl. Good girl, well done. Here you go. There you go. Now we need to put a little bit more practice into our steering. So I've set some cones upon the floor to hopefully weave around. We're not expecting it to be perfect, this is our very first go at it. I've moved to the one-hand driving technique where I use one hand to hold the reins and a supporting hand to move the directional rein left and right if needed, which I do need quite a lot in this, as you'll see. And we are oversteering quite a lot, but you know, this is how it's going to be. Like I said, it's going to be ugly, we're going to learn, it's going to get more refined and get better. She's doing pretty well though. I'm hoping the little marks on the ground help her understand that there was a task to do here. Again, you can see the pool noodles are still hitting her everywhere and she just doesn't care. You can see me using the one hand now just to pull the directional rein. And we're heading to go around the circle just for a little bit of change of direction, so we weren't going in so much of a straight line. When we're in the more open areas like that, she does still wander left and right a little bit, but she's getting the idea slowly. As we come down around the circle, you'll see that her head seems to bend away. That's because she's moving her whole body to the left, and I'm trying to tell her to go right so that we can continue around the track. She did get it in the end and did follow forward. In a moment, I'm going to ask her to stop and back up. Keep an eye, she does it with the reins quite loose, so very proud of her, mostly off the voice commands. There we are, really good, really proud of her and pleased. Another successful session. With a bit more practice, she'll be ready to move on to the next step. As you can see, we do have a cart for JJ when she's ready to use it. However, it is somewhat of a project at the moment. As you can see, it needs scraping back and painting. There's a few repairs to be done, and obviously there's no wood in the seat or footwell at the moment. A few days later, and you can see we found some plastic piping to give that a go. It's shafts again, but this time it's reaching the floor and it's more sturdy and she can knock it with her legs. So as you can see, she's a little unsure as she sets off, but we soon get into the swing of things. It's just as normal. She's turning nicely here at the top. And again, a little bit more forward, coming back towards the barn again. She doesn't seem to be particularly concerned about the shafts themselves though. Take her out onto the track, and I'm not going to bother with the weaving at the moment, although you will note that our straightness is suffering a little bit as usual, and we are just wandering a little bit left and right. I'm not too concerned about this at the minute because again it's her first time with the shafts, so I'd rather that she just felt comfortable with them rather than worrying about how straight she is. You can see she seems quite settled. And she's taking my direction fairly well. Turning nicely around the corner there. I bring her back down, and now she's had a moment or two to get used to them being behind her, I test out our brakes. Really good. Well done, JJ. We were feeling a little adventurous and decided that we would try a little trot at the bottom. Didn't quite understand my cue straight off, but quickly gets it. And can she stop from this calmly? Yes, she can. That's really good. JJ did so good with the harness today. I'm so proud of her. We've still got a really long way to go, but we'll get there. Hopefully you'll be able to follow us and see if we do any better in the future and manage to get her on a cart. Well, don't forget to like and share. We'll see you again next time. Bye.